This is Vasavi from At Home. So in this video, we are going to learn how to solve the pair of linear equation in two variables with the cross multiplying method. We have already seen the general form of an equation, right? A pair of linear equation. That is, it is a1x plus b1y plus c1 equals 0. And the second equation, we can take it as a2x plus b2y and c2 equals 0. Here, your a1, b1, c1 as well as a2, b2, c2 are all real numbers. Your a1 and a2 are the coefficient of x, and your b1 and b2 are the coefficient of y, and c1, c2 are the constant. First of all, we should know how we can know about the solution of these equations, okay? So, like you can just compare the coefficients of these x and y and you can come to a conclusion like whether the lines intersect, coincide, or they just fall parallel to each other, okay? So, graphically if you plot, you can say whether it intersects, coincide, or if the lines are parallel. But if we are using this cross multiplication method, how do we know it? So here, if you do a1 over a2, if that is not equal to b1 over b2, okay, the ratio, then you can say the lines, the two equation intersects, okay. So when they intersect, they have one point in common, so you can say it has got a unique solution. Understood? Now, when if a1 a2 is equal to b1 b2 and that is also equal to c1 c2, you can say that the lines overlap, they coincide completely. So what happens? You will have infinitely many solutions right from the beginning of the line till the end, okay? So here the lines to the equations will have intersecting line for the first one, and you have one solution here as common, okay? That would be your x and y. Now when the lines are overlapping, if this is one line and you have another line just overlapping, okay? This is what happens when you have a1 on A2 is equal to B1 on B2 is equal to C1 on C2, okay? They overlap, and so from the beginning, each and every point on the line are the solutions for this equations, okay? So you have infinitely many solutions, and in case if A1 over A2 is equal to B1 over B2, but they are not equal to C1 over C2, then you can say that the lines are parallel and they don't have any common point, and so there is no solution here. Understood? Let's see how to solve this problem in cross multiplication method. Okay, what we do is first express the coefficient of the two equations as in the following form. So for x, you just leave the coefficient of x, you take the coefficient of y and the constant term, okay. The coefficient of y will be b1 and b2. This side the constant term would be c1 by c2. So you get x over b1 c2 cross multiply, that is b1 c2 minus b2 c1. This is your x. This will be equal to y, whichever variable you are taking. Don't write the coefficient of that variable. You can write the coefficient of the other variable. When x is taken, you have written the coefficient of y and the constant term. So when you take y, you would write the constant term and then the coefficient of x, okay? And here too you cross multiply. So you get c1a2 minus c2a1. And for the constant term, you just leave the constant numbers. You just write the coefficient of x and y. So for constant, for 1, it would be like a1 b2 minus a2 b1. So you might find this little confusing. You will understand when we do a problem on it. Here the question says, the taxi charges in a city consist of a fixed charge together with the charge for the distance covered. For a distance of 10 kilometers, the charge paid is $105, and for a journey of 15 kilometers, the charge paid is $155. So you have a fixed charge. Okay, besides that, you will have to pay some amount for every kilometer. Okay, distance is 10 kilometer. You will have fixed charge plus this 10 kilometers charge, and when it is 15 kilometers journey, you will have the fixed charge plus the 15 kilometers charge, right? And that comes up to $155. You are asked to find the charges, fixed charges, as well as the charges per kilometer. Okay, and also they've asked you another question that we'll come to later. We'll just do that later. First, let's write what is given. First, you have to make the equation, right? So what I do is, let my fixed charge be x and the charge per kilometer is y. So for the first equation, that is when the distance is 10 kilometers, what will be your equation? You have to pay the fixed charge, which is x, plus it is 10 kilometers, right? So charge per kilometer is y. So for 10 kilometers, you will have 10 times charge per kilometer, that is 10y, right? And that comes up to $105. So you just write 105 here. Okay. Next equation is when the journey is 15 kilometers. So you will have here also, you will have the fixed charge. There is no change in the fixed charge, but the kilometers is 15. So here you will have 15 times y, right? For the distance traveled, you will have to pay y per kilometer. So 15 times y will be equal to $155. Okay. Now you got the equation. Let me put that in the general form, where you will have the x term, y term and the constant on your left side, and it is 0 on the right side. Okay. So I would write x plus 10y minus 105 equals 0. And this one I can write it as x plus 15y, and the 155, when it is taken to your left, it becomes minus 155 equals 0. So now that we got everything in the general form, so now let me find out what is my A1, A2 and B1, B2 and C1, C2. Okay. So the coefficient of x is your A1 and A2. So here your A1 and A2 is equal to A1 equals 1. Okay. And your A2 is equal to the coefficient of the second equation, the coefficient of x in the second equation, that is also 1. Okay. Now we got it as 1 and 1. Now B2 is the coefficient, B1 is the coefficient of y in the first equation. So that is 10, and B2 is the coefficient of y in the second equation, that is 15, and your C1 and C2 are the constants of two equations. So your C1 is equal to minus 105. Okay, take along with the sign. Minus 105, and here this is minus 155. Got it? Now let's write that in this form. Like, you have your x divided by, you're going to do the cross multiplication, right? For x, you would write, I told you, you would not write the coefficient of x, you will write the coefficient of y. That is, you take it as 10 and 15 this side here, and this side you would write the constant term. I have given you the format in the previous page. You can just go through. This is C1 and C2. Okay. So this is done. X is done. Now is equal to. Now we are going to write the y. Okay. So leave the y coefficient. You would write the C1, C2 first. Okay. So that's 105. And here minus 155. And then you would write the A1 and A2. A1 and A2 is 1 and 1 here, okay, is equal to, for the constant term, you would write the coefficient of x and y, right? So the coefficient of x is 1 and 1 and the coefficient of y will be 10 and 15, right? Yeah, you're done with this. Now you have done half of the problem. Just cross multiply, okay, and you have to subtract them, right? So what happens now? You have x on, 10 times minus 155 will give you minus 1550, right? Then minus, you cross multiply this one, this side now. 15 times minus 105, right? So that would be minus 1575, okay? Yeah, this is done. Good. So let's proceed with the next one. For y, you do the same, you cross multiply. So 1 times this will give you minus 105, minus of negative 155 times 1 is minus 155 here, right? Okay. This is equal to, here when you cross multiply you get 15 minus 10. So that implies your x divided by minus 1550, and here minus of minus will make it plus, right? So the sign becomes plus here, and that is 1575. Same way do it for y2, right? Equals, this side it is nothing, it is 1 over 5, right? So solve this. So you would get x over 25 equals y over 50 equals 1 over 5. Now you can equate your x with the constant term and the y with the constant term and get the answer. So you would get x over 25 is equal to 1 over 5. So that implies multiplying throughout by 25, you get x equals 5, right? Here your y over 50 is equal to, equated to the constant term, that is 1 over 5. Now multiply throughout by 50. What do you get? You get your y as 10. So you have the answer for the first question. That is, they had asked you what is the fixed charge. You have taken your fixed charge as x. So your fixed charge is $5, okay? And y is the charge per kilometer, right? So charge per kilometer equals $10, right? And they've asked you one more question. I said we'll do that later. We have got this, the fixed charge we got, and the charge per kilometer we have done. Now, how much does a person have to pay for traveling a distance of 25 kilometers? Now he is going to travel for 25 kilometers. So, for 25 kilometers, he will have to pay, your fixed charge is 5 plus 25 kilometers times the charge per kilometer, which is 10. So that would be 5 plus 250, right? So that is $255. Is that clear? So this is how you do the cross multiplication method. So that's very easy. Just be careful with the cross multiplication and while handling the signs. Okay, when you multiply the signs, just be a little careful there, and you can solve it in no time. Hope you all understood this method. So see you soon with other videos. Bye.